So I have now gone through and actually completed the 2 main characters' profiles. I'm going to click on this so you can actually look. This is what it looks like when you're able to fill it out. So I gave him a name. His name is now Grayson Devereaux. Again, his category over here is still the main, and he is the protagonist. He was born in Boston, grew up in Manhattan. He played water polo in college. He was the goalie. He's a trust fund baby. His grandfather made his billions in factory farming, and his parents died when he was in college, and he's the only living relative is his grandfather, who happens to be the founder and owner of Devereaux Farms, Inc. The story is basically going to start when his grandfather says to Grayson, if you want to, inherit my money, my billions, this industry, you need to prove yourself. And part of that is going to be turning around a farm in upstate New York that is currently not making a profit. And so Grayson is basically sent out there as like this young MBA type who's going to turn around a farm even though he knows absolutely nothing at all about the farming industry. He goes by the nickname Gray to his friends. He's 26, male, white, hazel, brown hair. He's very white, no possibility of tanning, as you can imagine. That's going to be fun on a farm. He's 6'4", 200, again, gives him that nice water polo build. No religion really to speak of. Born in Boston, has his MBA from Harvard. He did work as a stockbroker for a few years on the New York State Stock Exchange, so just kind of giving him, again, some of that business cred background. Bad habits. He takes everything for granted. He's kind of grown up in money, so he's not sure what it's like not to have it. And as such, he kind of looks down on his nose at people who aren't like him, and he happens to be accidentally offensive without even realizing it. Again, he's so used to everyone being like him, so that anytime he's around different people, he's not quite sure when he's being offensive. Good habits. He's a hard worker. He's not afraid to get involved, and he makes a lot of missteps, but people generally tend to like him. He has an affable personality. Life goals, obviously, makes lots of money. He wants to settle down, have a family, but he fears being poor. Again, since it's something he's never been, and while he takes money for granted, he also realizes that he wouldn't know what to do if he didn't have it. And the idea that his grandfather could be like, you know what, you can't run this, I'm kind of disinheriting you, is kind of a scary concept to him. And of course, he's afraid of being alone. So that is main character number 1. Then we got main character number 2, who, if you notice, his name is now changed. And that's because I actually talked to the photographer who took the picture and found out what this guy's actual background is, which I think actually adds for some interesting things. His name is Talget Kuderbergen. He's a farmer. And actually, the guy, the actual image here, which is kind of fun. He's actually Russian, but he's actually from Kazakhstan. And so I thought, ooh, that's kind of a fun thing. To take a first-generation Kazakh immigrant in the United States, that brings some interesting things to a character that I hadn't even thought about. So I start off here. I actually just did some basic notes, thank you Wikipedia, about Kazakhstan and kind of some of the history there. Just some things that I can drop into the story, just as some background peppering of things. Just as an FYI, Kazakhstan decriminalized consensual same-sex sexual relationships back in 1998. Even though that's true, it's still Russia, and so it's still highly influenced by the Russia, and as such, even though technically it's legal, that doesn't necessarily mean that people there are openly gay. Nickname, most people just call him Bergen because it's the easiest part of his name to remember. 27, he's male. Again, he's Kazakhstan. Brown hair or brown eyes, black hair, skin color. I did the Pantone lookup on his skin tone, and it's called tumbleweed. Not that I would actually say he looks like a tumbleweed, but that's the technical name for the coloring that he has, and so it just kind of gives me a better idea. I'll definitely come up with something that sounds better than tumbleweed when I describe him in the book. Height, 5'7", he's on the shorter side. He's 176 pounds. He grew up as a Sunni Muslim, but his family stopped practicing when they came to the United States, which is something I found out about a lot of people who live in Kazakhstan. Sunni Muslims is the largest proportion of religious people within Kazakhstan. He was born in Nur Sultan and immigrated to the United States. He grew up in Woodstock, New York. And can have some fun things with that as well. He has a BS in Sustainable Food and Farming from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, the Stockbridge School of Agricultural College of Natural Sciences. He is a farm general manager. Openly, bad habits. Not a fan of openly gay people. He finds it still distasteful to be flagrantly gay, so he has some of these cultural things that are still in the back of his head. Probably some of his own internalized homophobia. He's over-striving for perfection, very family-centered, is good things. He's fiercely protective of those he cares about. Life goals. He wants to own his own farm, his own apple orchard. Again, I'm going to have it that his father also worked on this farm, so it's kind of a family legacy thing. Fears his failure, and he doesn't want to disappoint his family. And that really is kind of one of the driving forces in here. So those are my two main characters. So now I'm going to add a just simple side character. I'm going to add the grandfather. And so I know that his name is Jameson. Oops. Jameson. Okay, maybe if I can spell. Is it Jameson? Oh, let me figure this out. I'm going to pause. I was right the first time. So it's Jameson, even though it's going to put the little red squiggly line. Devereaux, D-E-V-E-R-E-U-X, Devereaux, grandfather. I have an image here, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to choose the image. I'm going to upload the image from my file of images. Got a nice old man looking in a suit kind of a guy, which I thought, yeah, it kind of gives me that general idea of what I'm looking for here. He's going to be he's the founder of Devereaux Farms. I'm going to make sure I put in here he is Grayson's grandfather. And I'm going to write, just for my own purposes, he gives Grayson the ultimatum. Turn the farm profitable or lose your inheritance. And so, you know, it's going to be one of those things. And what, of course, I'm going to put over here is he's dying, and Grayson doesn't know. Hence why he gets the ultimatum. Now, here's something I want to show you. Is that you can highlight all of these, and if you want to make them numbered, you can make them numbered. If you want to make them bulleted points, so you do have that ability to do that. I like bulleted points just because I love me a good bulleted point. I do want to point out that you do have a number of different things. You do have different fonts that you can use. The basic one that comes with is Forum. You can make anything black, bold, italicized, underline. You can put a strike through it. You have the ability to add color. You can do titles, like if you want to have like larger text and subtitles or quotation marks. You do have some of that ability. I'll show you what that looks like. So we have, let's make this a title. So what would that look like? Let me do a hard return real fast. There we go. Oops. So we'll title, big title. Again, just to show you what this looks like. Or you have subtitle. If you wanted to put something in quotation marks, again, it's going to give you that indent automatically there. So again, it does have some of these things that are nicely built in. I'm just going to delete all of that stuff. You can also insert hyperlinks. And of course, you can also add more pictures in here as well. So this gives me a general idea about who Grayson's grandfather is going to be. And I'm going to go ahead and click over here on save. And oops, he's uncategorized. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm just going to put him in here as a supporting character. And I'm going to click save. Now, one of the nice things about this is you do have the ability to add categories. So I'm going to click on category, and you'll see that it has main, supporting, other. One of the things I often like to do is, like, I might have like a category. I'm going to just put these in here. Grayson's friends. I'm going to add them, and I'm also going to have Talget friends, and then maybe I'll just have like a farm employees. And so this way, I have like, if I have any of Grayson's friends, I can put them in and they'll be over here under their own category. If I have Talget's friends, I can have them over here under their own category. Any farm employees. I like doing that because it does make it a little bit easier for me to keep track of like who goes where. You can also add your own attributes if you wanted to add things that'll show up to these, which can be very useful. So let's say if I wanted to add an attribute, let's say I'm just going to write test for now. So it'll be test. And that way, and you can basically make it if you wanted it to be a paragraph, if you just wanted it as an entry box. Again, it does make it kind of nice to be able to have some of these things. And that way, when you add it new, you're going to see that it's going to add my new test box down there at the bottom. But I'm going to delete that because I really didn't want that. And I'm going to come back up here to the attributes, and I'm going to get rid of that for now. But you can add your own to the basic character form, which again is going to make your life easier. I do want you to notice, though, that again, for the main characters, I like the full one. For supporting characters, I like the short one that's just kind of what it is that they do and what their place is in the story. So one of the things we're going to come back up here to is we're going to go into the timeline, and I'm going to show you how you can, in the next video, place characters within the actual timeline.